Hello. Hello, hello. Deborah's or Deborah.
Oh,
Hello to everyone who is starting to log in. We want to say hello. We want to say welcome. Excuse us. You're going to see fewer faces today. Um, Not like the group like yesterday, but this is just, life gets in the way and sometimes, we just do what we got to do. So you get two girlfriends today. You get two girlfriends on here, but we get other girlfriends already viewing. So if you are on Facebook or YouTube, we want to thank you for tuning in to the live. We are talking about the Deborah anointing, and we are on chapter 2. Hi, Cece. I see you. I want to thank you for logging in, and I want to ask you to please tag and share. I'm actually going to get on right now on my account, and I'm going to get on Facebook. In the comments, you can tag some of your girlfriends so that they can log in, because we have some good stuff. Every time we get together, it's good. Every time we get together, it's good. So if you can, please, I'm going to jump on now. Excuse me as I get quiet, because I can't listen. If I say it on here, I'm gonna be texting it. So give me a minute. Give me a minute. All right, let's share. So we want to excuse our other Deborahs who are missing today, which is Sharia and Ashley. Sharia unfortunately is not feeling well. And hi Maya. I'm just seeing people's names, so I'm gonna try and shout everybody out as I can. Sharia wasn't feeling well. Listen, there are all kinds of stuff out there. There's all kinds of bugs. Okay. So she wasn't feeling her best, and she was really trying. I said, no, go on, girl, go ahead and rest. So we excuse her this evening, and just keeping her and her family in prayers that that thing does not spread, because when you got kids, that thing quickly spread. And also with Ashley, she will not be on because as we shared, I don't know if it was in the last live or it was the International Women's one, but we were absolutely talking about her faith, because homegirl moving across state lines, and she has literally a couple days and she is heading out. So she is finishing up what she needs to finish up. And, we honor that and we respect that. So we do miss y'all though. We miss y'all. And hi, Suzette. I see you. I see you. Thank you for logging in. Quick introduction for those of you who don't know me. I am Melissa, and I am the founder of Love Me More. And the Between Girlfriends Book Club is just one area in which we operate in. Go ahead, Kavina.
I'm Kavina Cropper, and I'm creator of Women Gather. I'm glad to be here with y'all tonight. Y'all ready to talk? I'm ready to talk.
Yes. Listen, we're gonna have points to ponder. Okay, because we all in a season in life. We want to make sure we in the right season. We want to make sure we doing the right things, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't like to be frustrated. Okay, I don't like to be frustrated. I don't like to move in that. Okay, so I want to give a quick recap of what we talked about last week. And you can, if you want something more in depth, I'm just asking that you go ahead and just go back and listen, catch the replay of the live from last week, as it is it's on our Facebook page, and it's as well as on YouTube. But we talked about what the Deborah anointing is, and we talked a little bit about who she was, and we didn't really expose her story so much, because we want you to be able to relate to this woman. As women, we have a lot of characteristics. We have a lot of character traits that are similar, a lot of attributes that are similar. And when we hear somebody who did great things, because she was a judge ruler, and in a time that was, 12th century BC, where even now we know women's rights we still trying to get all kinds of rights that we really don't have anymore. But that's a whole nother story and a whole nother live. But she was a woman who was a judge and ruler, and she led a nation to freedom in the Middle East. Now, in the Middle East, all right. So,
Right.
and we already know people don't like to look at women in leadership. They don't like to see women in leadership, and they have their reasons as to why. But we are not those people, okay? That would not be us. We are the yay sayers, not the naysayers. So we are doing this because we are calling upon the leader that is within you. We all have leader capabilities, and we all have an area of influence, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your family, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in your community, if it's in the schools, wherever, if it's in government, wherever you are, you absolutely have a charge that you can lead. And we're speaking to that leader in you, because we do, especially in the world that we live in, those things can tend to lie dormant. Those things, if we're not activating them and using them, our voice can be silent. So we're not operating in that. We calling upon all Deborahs to arise, because it is our time, right? So in our book, in the intro, it talks about what the Deborah anointing is. And it says that it is there was a scripture that says, I, Deborah, arose. And it talks about the Hebrew word being translated arose as a passage of scripture, which is a compound word that describes a position women must take. See, you hear that must?
Must.
I mean, that's not an option. Okay. That doesn't mean you can if you, no. This is must. This is something you must do. Okay. So it says it is a word that describes the position that women must take in this time of crisis in the earth. Now, you ain't got to look far to see crisis in this world we live in. I mean, you can open up the door. I don't care what pristine neighborhood you live in. You can open up the door and you can absolutely see crisis. Okay. So we know that we are living in a time of crisis, and there is a call that is going out to women to arise. And so she rose up because she was going to confront. Okay, she was going to confront the darkness that was shading the world, and we see a lot of darkness. Okay, we see a lot of brokenness. We see a lot of evil. Like, we see this now. All right. And it calls us to arise and arise in our power. All right. And operate in our gifts, because that is our power. All right. And we are multi-gifted, multi-talented women. And we have been called to invade industries with our presence, with our voice, with our gifts, and with our talents. And it is a time of crisis. Therefore, we must do so. Right. So, Deborah, women who operate under that Deborah leadership, they are women who are not ashamed to arise in the time of crisis. They also arise in their power, using their gifts and talents, okay, to shut things down, right? To stand up for injustices, okay? She's also it talks about her coming onto the scene to be seen. And us women, we don't mind working in the background. I always say that we don't mind being stage crew. We don't want to be on the stage, but I'll do the stage crew. I'll do the set, But it's the time that we must come on the scene to be seen. Okay. And she also established herself. Okay. She established herself. No, she rooted herself, and she spread her wings so that she could reach the next generation. We have a generation that is looking at us. Well, I don't know about you. My kids ain't gonna say my mom, she ain't fight for this, she ain't fight. No, your mama's a fighter. Okay. Sometimes it's not the best type of fight, but we're a work in progress, right? We work in progress. Right. And we try to fight right every single time. Okay. I was like, she's a work in progress. But one thing my kids ain't gonna be able to say is that I did not use my voice. That I did not fight when I needed to fight, right? That I did not stand when I needed to stand. And I'm empowering and I'm showing them how they can do it as well the right way. Because growing up, I didn't do it the right way. And she learned now, but they grew up, they was the opposite. And I was actually sharing that in conversation. I said, I'm so glad, because they just better kids than I was.
Okay, yeah, that's important. That's important though.
It is. It is. So just a quick recap on this is what we're called to do. And in this time, it is about, there is a call, there is an initiative, there is a cause that we either get excited about or we get flustered about. But either way, those reactions that we are feeling, that means, because you're supposed to act on it. You're not supposed to sit there and be quiet. You're not supposed to sit there and wait for somebody else to do it. It is you. And we are here to either stand in agreement with you or tell you who you are. Or let me tell you, remind you of who you are. Because sometimes life has a way of making us forget, because them blows, mess with our minds sometimes, right?
They hit hard.
Yes. I was like, sometimes, it's blow for blow. And then it's like, oh, I forgot about that. Like, oh no, let me remind you of who you are. Let me tell you where you came from. Let me tell you what I see in you, because we need those girlfriends that will do that, because, we can look at ourselves and not the same esteem that others will see us, and they will see us higher than what we actually view ourselves. So it's nice to have that, right? So she goes on in the intro where she talks about how we can activate this. These are things that we all possess, right? These are things that are actually in us. They just sitting there quiet, And she talks about how we can develop listening ears because of who she was. She was someone who strategically would speak up on behalf of others, right? And she had an ability to judge righteously, and we are all judges. We can judge righteously or not, right? So she said when she had an ability to listen, because when you go to court, I shared this I had my time in court with my divorce, right? And I can tell y'all right now. Oh, look at that love. Look at that love.
Oh gosh.
Oh, look at that love. Go ahead.
I want to be in the back. I want to be in the back.
Nope, she Deborah today. She's Deborah. She Deborah. She on the scene to be seen, right? But she had a listening ear. She could hear somebody's story, but she could discern and hear the unspoken, right? And we have those abilities. We have the ability to listen to something, discern on it, and speak up and be able to judge accordingly, and not just kind of go with gossip and go with what everybody else is saying. Like, no, I got to do my own investigations. I got to do this. And then standing up for people, being able, because we are a voice to those who aren't using theirs. And when we use our voice for them, it will activate their voice in them, right? So she sought out divine instruction. She ain't just move around the way she wanted to do. She was like, I got to be sure. Like, I ain't out here all willy-nilly because I ain't got time to waste. Okay, so I need to make sure that what I'm doing is the right thing at the right time. And she aligned herself with that, and she was very successful. It talks about how she had a gathering grace. Okay, she had a way of bringing people together, right, for causes. She had ability to bring, and she brought people together to fight. Like, hey, she brought people together to fight for freedom. Like, can we, that alone, we need somebody to go together so people up to fight for freedom. Like, I'm down because there's a lot of bondage up out here in this real physical world. Okay, but anyway, she also was a military strategist, as I said. Like, she gathered people and she knew when to launch attacks, but it wasn't because of her, because she sought divine instruction. She knew that there was a greater, higher being than herself that would lead her where she needed to be and lead the people. And she was not embarrassed of that. So she was also an agitator, so she knew how to stir something up, right? But stir up the good stuff, okay? Stirring up movement, she knew how to stir up something. So these are all things that we absolutely possess, but sometimes life has gotten in the way and we are not doing those things. And I'm telling you that there is literally a call in your life to a leadership. Okay. And you may not see yourself as president or vice president or CEO. Okay. But I'm telling you right now, you might be the CEO of your house. Like I was like, there is some area where you the boss, baby. You the boss, baby. Like, don't get it twisted. You are the boss. And when you find out those things that you are passionate about, when you find out those things that you are called to, and I shared last week, I feel a very deep call to education. And I am no teacher, I'm not an administrator, I'm a business consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I see the need. And I am very big on education. And I don't depend on the school district to teach my kids what they need to know. That's me first. And that's just how I parent, so I am very, I feel very strong about some things that I've been seeing in school districts. And I'm like, no, we about to make a move because I can't, like my youngest, I'm not going to make it 10 years with her. And not the way schooling is now.
No.
I'm not gonna make it 10 years. We gonna do something else. We got an alternative. We have an alternative because I'm not gonna make it 10 years for her to graduate.
Oh.
Kavina, share, because I know we all shared. What is it that you said last week that you feel passionate about? That you feel by?
So it's several things. It's the just single moms. I don't know, because that's my story. Yes. So I tend to have a softened heart for that. Mm-hmm. A lot of injustices that I see in our communities, I have a heart for that as well. It's almost sometimes like a burning anger, if you will, and to the point where it's like, oh, I have to do something. Yes. I don't always know what that something is, but something. Yes. And then autism because of my two sons. Okay. So I feel like those are the three things that I feel like God is burned on my heart for now in this particular season. So
yes, and that's good. And you shared exactly what it is. That thing gonna make you feel all bubbly and soft and good inside, or it's gonna fuel you to be like, nah, we not even putting up with this. Like, it's gonna be one or the other, right? Yeah. So yes, and thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, because it's true. And sometimes, we can have so much going on in life that we don't even know. Like when I went through my transition, when I got through divorce, I had to go through a time of discovery because, as a wife and being so devoted to my husband and family life and everybody's first, I'm like, oh, well, I ain't got to worry about this and I ain't got to worry about that. And now I got more time for this and myself. And well, now who am I now? Because life experiences, it absolutely changes you. Yeah. So I had to go through a time of rediscovery. But in that time of rediscovery, I was silent. Like, I was just like, I'm doing away with everything. Like, I just need to kind of figure out who I am now in this point in my life and what is it I'm trying to do. So I had to rediscover passion. There was things that I put up on a shelf that I really didn't think I was going to pick back up, but I did. And then there's new things that I'm actually venturing into. So, we are always becoming, we're always, we always going to be in a time of self-discovery because that's what seasons do. Seasons change us. They grow us. Okay. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have to go through growing pains and we'll go through the growing pains. We'll go through the growing pains, but we want to constantly be connected to who we are and just, constantly rediscover ourselves. Okay. So anyway, we have more details. As I said, you can catch the replay from last week. And I do want to encourage you to do so because the women, we come out here, we do bare our hearts and we bare our private lives. And because one thing that is missing in relationships is transparency. Yeah. We're on social media where we're on fake book, not Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of fake because I gotta make y'all think that this is, and that's not what it is. So, we bear everything, and we just want to relate because that's who we are. Like even the podcast that I have that I keep trying to get back to, but just life has just been taking me, and I haven't had a chance. But that's the thing, with the real, the raw, and the relatable. That's who we are. We are real. And we bring raw and we make it relatable. Okay. I was like, so we're going to talk about things that people are not talking about. And some people might just be like, I ain't listening to them no more. And that's okay. That's okay. But you're going to get real here and you're going to get raw here. I'm just letting you know, because that's what girlfriends do. That's what girlfriends do. So let's jump into chapter 1. where we're talking about times and seasons
I'm
of
ready.
the call. Okay. So I I just want to share this, because just going through this, there was one big thing. There was one line alone that I've underlined a couple times, and I was sharing this with Kavina, and it was there is an appropriate time for every matter indeed. And while I know this, why don't I know it in the moment? Like, because let an idea come up. Like, it's like I got to have the whole thing done right now. And if it's not done in 20, like, I lack patience in that area, right?
Yeah.
And if it ain't done in 24 hours, and then it's just like, oh, why? Like, I'm being too slow about things, or like, I just start, just the thoughts and the mind processes is just ain't right, because again, when I do something, I'm quick and I jump right on it, and I don't leave things for tomorrow, and even if I have my schedule, I will squeeze something else in. Like, oh, I don't need to sleep that much. I've been up since 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that's the road to burnout.
Yes, yes. And when I tell you, like, literally, I was up at 3 o'clock this morning. I've been up. And when I tell you around three, I think it was like around 3 or 4, I was like, I don't know why I'm so tired. I was like, oh my gosh, I've been up since 3 o'clock. Like, I never went back to bed. Like, because I'm constantly going, my mind is going, and it's just like, oh, it's perfect time. Everybody sleep, it's quiet and dark, and oh, I can get my time in. And I was like, so Kavina, talk to me about when you read that there is an appropriate time for every matter indeed. How did that hit you and touch on you?
So I think it's very relatable. I know, like,
Mhm.
just for an example, like if I get something from God, and some pressing matter, I always think that it's going to happen like right away, ASAP. And then usually he's preparing me for that. It's not
Yes.
something that just happens tomorrow, next week, next month. It sometimes is years down. And I have to also confess that I have probably prolonged some things because of my not giving the appropriate response.
Yes.
So if my response isn't like, okay, you got on with it, it's like, all right,
Yes.
So yeah, that hit me a lot. That hit me very, very much, because it is a time and a place for everything. And as being a mom, like you, Melissa, like I just want to get things done all the time. Like, so I got my little checklist, and I don't like saving things for tomorrow. I want to get it all done today, but I also don't want to be burnt out, because when I'm burnt out, I'm good to nobody. I'm not good.
Exactly. Oh my God.
To myself.
Yeah.
I'm not good at work. I'm not good at anything. And so I have to recognize, when is it time to work? When is it time to rest? When is it time to engage with other people? All those things. It's a time and place for it. So that was good for me.
And I like that you said that, because sometimes when we do get these things, and it is a process. Like, you have to go through and sometimes I want to skip on it. Like, I mean, let's really talk about it. When you think about processes and things you got to go through to get, like, sometimes can I just do, what is it? A hop, skip, and a jump, and then boom, there it is. It's like everything. And, I was sharing, even just sharing about, the dream that I had, talking about women who go through the process of being pregnant, and the different stages of pregnancy. And I remember, like, my first trimester, I was always like, hi, Lenora. We had to shout people out as we see them coming, right? Just thinking about the process of, pregnancy and just the different stages. And I remember, like, being so sick my first trimester and so tired, and, and then you go through, like, oh, I got a little bit of energy, but then they're making you, like, fast and take different tests. Like, who fasts when they're pregnant? Like, I'm hungry all the time. I'm like, it's like just everything that you go through. And then you go through the birthing process, and none of my birthing processes were that easy. Like, I was in labor for 36 hours. Like, and after having her, people was like, oh, you won't even remember that. Well, that didn't go away that quick. I want to say that, because I remember after I was like, that was a lie. Like, I remember everything. I remember being in labor for 36 hours. Like, that was not fun.
I don't remember Any of them. That's why we gotta respect the process because it looks different for all of us, right?
Yes.
I had a C-section with one,
Yes.
vaginal with the other, and it's just like I don't really remember. I don't know how long I was in labor, and
Yes.
quite frankly, pregnancy looked the same for me as like I just didn't eat much, and
Yes.
it was hard. It was
Yes.
that part was hard.
Yes.
But
Yes.
as far as the labor part, I don't even remember. I just know they here. I don't know how they got here. They here.
But even the simplicities of not being able to sleep on and I never returned to being a stomach sleeper. I used to be a stomach sleeper. I never returned to being a stomach sleeper. But I remember like that was so hard. Like I want to sleep on my stomach. I can't even turn over. Like I'm on my side. Like sleeping was all off, and and you never get that. You never get your sleeping patterns back after you have a kid. You never do. I was like, I don't care how old they are. You just never do. So, but everything really is a process. And sometimes these ideas, that's exactly what it is. It's to take us through a process. Sometimes what we're fighting for is to take us through a process, right? So, what I like and what I was really intrigued by this was when she also talked on here about not getting overwhelmed. Can we touch on that?
I mean, we
on
should.
Not being overwhelmed and how we are to keep saying yes, even if we're not actively in it.
That is good. I can recall plenty of times of being overwhelmed, and when I experienced those times, I've now matured because in those times I would get frustrated, not sure what to do, kind of all over the place.
Yes.
But now I'm more strategic. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm like, all right, let me sit, let me get quiet, let me meditate, or let me write down. It's usually jotting down my thoughts, emptying out my brain because my mind is on go, like go, 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 go. And so when my mind is on go like that, it's just important for me to just empty myself out. And that's also my way of communicating with God as well as what's on my heart. And I'll begin to notice like some of these concerns aren't really concerns.
Yes.
And so I don't know. Like, what do you think? What's going on with you?
Well, what this hit me is that we mature gradually through the plan. We mature gradually through what it is that we are doing, and what we're talking about is, whatever it is that we're stepping into. If we're stepping into dreams, if we're stepping into some type of cause or some type of initiative, something that we have been called to, right? And we can sometimes feel like that's too big for me. Like I'm not there yet, and accepting that, hey, no, if you have been called to this, you are going to mature through it. It's not just about you learning ahead of time in school. Some of that learning is going to have to come on the job training, okay? Someone's got to be on the job training. And that whole part about not getting overwhelmed, I get overwhelmed when I'm doing things out of season. I get overwhelmed when I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing in that time. Like I should be saving this for later, but because I'm constantly doing and going, which we talked about before, are traumatic responses, I will get overwhelmed. And now I'm snapping on people, or I just feel like I can't, like, I just need time to myself, or feeling even on the other end, like I'm not operating in excellence. Like I'm not, this is not working out. Like the bottom is falling beneath me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crumbling. Why is this crumbling? So I like that she talks about to not getting overwhelmed. And to me, that is so, it's literally the sentence, don't get overwhelmed. That is not like rocket science, but because of who I am, it speaks to me in abundance. It is a reminder to me, chill out. Like, this is what you need to chill. You're doing too much. Sit down somewhere, right? I mean, that's what it says to me. But that doesn't mean that you're saying no. You're
Mhm.
just saying yes to the right timing of things, okay? And I want to I really want to talk about in here when she talks about the different seasons,
Okay.
because this the fact, okay, so we had a Love Me More event in January,
Okay.
and in that event, this is actually what we tackled. So I found it to be I felt like this was God saying, I don't want y'all to miss this.
Mhm.
Like we literally did a workshop on what it's like to be divinely aligned, okay? And we were talking about our mind, our bodies, our spirits, right?
Mhm.
We talked about being at the right place at the right time, and when you're in alignment, you will. And you'll and there's like, you ever notice you just at the right place at the right time, around the right people? Yes,
Yeah.
okay, because you're in that alignment. And we talked about this, and we talked about what different seasons look like, because the only thing that leads to frustration is that when we're doing something in the wrong season.
Mhm.
And so we went over, what do seasons look like for us? And we went through the actual seasons.
Mhm.
We came together in winter. So we went over winter, we went over spring, we went over summer, and we went over fall. And so to talk about what it looks like, in the world, like what we see when it comes to horticulture, when it comes to our world that we live in and the things that are happening in that season, if we align ourselves with that, we are absolutely going to see great progress.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
is the key to not being frustrated.
Yeah.
So you don't see farmers taking seeds and planting them in the winter or when it's time to harvest, because they're harvesting. And in winter, they are not planting, they are planning. So if you are planting in the time that you should be planning, yes, you're going to be frustrated, because now you're going to be like, a couple months went by and nothing came of this. Yes,
Mhm.
because you did it in the wrong time. So I just feel like he is saying, I don't want you to miss on
Mhm.
what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do through you.
Yeah.
Okay, so she first talks about a spiritual winter, and she said that this is a time of death to self. And just a couple things that I have highlighted, when we gave the workshop, and this brought me back to that, farmers, they're surveying their land, because they know that when springtime comes, like, okay, now we're going to fertilize, we're going to start planting, we're going to start breaking up ground and so on. But they're spending their time planning, what does my spring look like? So, in other words, what does my planting season look like? What am I planting? What am I trying to grow?
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. And
Right.
as they are planning that, so they have their blueprint. Now, well, let's do the things around the house and around the farm that need to be tended to. So let's make sure that our machines is working right. So if they ain't working right, let's go ahead and oil them up, or let's order some new parts. Hey, let's fix this shed. It is a time of reassessing. It's a time of looking at yourself. Where am I? Where do I need to improve? How do I need to be ready for my season of planting? And she says here that the spiritual winter is a time for evaluation, planning, and preparation.
Mhm.
It is a time for letting go of anything that will destroy your call. It
Mhm.
is also the time to learn the uniqueness of your call. And that was big also for me, because I know when I went through my winter season, I did say goodbye. I had to say goodbye to people,
Mm.
and people they don't like to hear that. I was like, they don't want to hear. And it's not even like, I'm not even mad at you. I don't even hate you. But where you're going in life and where
Yeah.
I'm going in life doesn't allow us to walk two by two.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand, I'm mature enough to understand that and not be like, oh, you not this. And no, not at all.
Yeah.
I understand that, because I could pick up the phone and talk to anybody at any time, like no time has passed,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I have a heart for that.
Yeah.
I have a pure heart when it comes to that. So,
Yeah.
Kavina, talk to me. Talk to me about this.
So she says one thing that I think stood out for me. This is a season to refine and further develop your relationship with the God of your call.
Yes.
That's important to me because in this winter time, I'm usually hibernating, if you will. I'm fretting or like overwhelmed, or I'm just maybe not stagnant. I'm not doing anything.
Yes.
I'm not being productive. And so she gives this clear definition on what we should be doing in our winter season. And so now when I'm in winter, I know what I should be doing. So no longer will I feel stagnant. No longer will I feel uncomfortable. No longer will I be looking around like, oh, I guess everybody's doing stuff but me, like type of thing. Because that's real. We get in a time where, people are doing this and people are doing that, starting this business, going this place. And, sometimes we feel like we're not moving, but understanding that the place that we're in is we're still being productive in that place.
Yes.
It will help. It will help you move into your next season.
Yes.
Where, we'll see a difference in the season. So
yes.
That was good for me.
I like that because when you said being productive doesn't necessarily mean putting your hands to the plow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it is going to be sitting down.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is going to be, just taking a look over your life, where you are, where you've been, where you trying to go. Sometimes it calls for reassessing.
Yeah.
So I like that because, especially someone who, and it's not just me, a lot of us can relate to, because it's what this world teaches us, is that our worth is attached to our work.
Yeah.
So how valuable are you? How much can you do? How much weight can you carry? You know what I mean? How much stress can you handle? Like, can you multitask? Can you, all these things are attached to us. And it's like, well, I have to do to be good.
Yeah.
I have to do to be worthy. I have to do, and we don't.
Yeah.
Like, we don't. And I love that because I know that he's going against the grain with this. He's like, listen, we just came out of our winter season. Okay, so we just came out of a season where we should have been looking forward to this planting season. Okay, we were in the planning time. All right, and now, I like that also because before I go into, we can get into spiritual spring because I really want to talk about that because that's where we are right now. We are in spring. She talks about being in the wilderness. And when you think about the wilderness and we talk about wilderness experience, like what is there? Nothing that we want. Like, honestly, you want to stick me in the wilderness physically? No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm not trying to be there. Right. But she talks about this season as like, there is where we meet our maker. There is where we meet with God. There is where we find him, because who else we looking for in that season? I ain't looking for nobody else. I know me. I didn't have my fair share of wilderness season, and I ain't seek out nobody, especially because I'm the one that when I go through something, I'm a drop off the scene. You ain't gonna hear me, see me. You ain't gonna know nothing about me.
That's me.
I'm gonna go through my mess, and then I'm gonna come up brand new. That's just what I do.
Yeah, that's me. We got to do better with that.
We do, because we can cause the community.
Yeah, we need community. It's necessary. It's necessary.
We've been causing the community, so we getting better.
Yeah.
Getting better. All right. So, okay. So let's get into spiritual spring, where she talks about this is a time to embrace the call. So you figure in winter, you're just trying to figure out like what we doing this year. You know what I mean? Like, and you think about it at the beginning of the year, everybody got their vision boards. They're planning out their family vacations. They're planning out, what big things. Like I can tell you right now, I got plans for my house. I got projects I'm working on. I got them all planned out. I have our vacation planned out, when we leaving, dates, everything. I have 2 of them planned out actually. So, I was like, I get through and I start planning things out because I want to give myself time to make those things happen. Right. So when she talks about this, now it's about embracing. So in other words, you did the work.
Yeah.
You did the reconstruction, you reassessed, you sought out what you trying to do, who you trying to be, who you are this year, coming into this season and everything you done graduated from last year. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, now it's time to embrace that. But that can be a little difficult because you haven't fully entered into something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just a quick and I can relate it to this because what popped in my head was that you know I've done business consulting for years, and I recently I got into real estate, and that is something that is new for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Kathy, sorry, I thought you about to shout people out. Real estate was something that was new for me, and this is the thing, I love chartered territory, right?
Okay.
Stick me in a place that I know and I can navigate and maneuver with my eyes closed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But don't put me in a place that I don't know. Don't put me something that's new to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got into real estate, I moved very slowly. I moved very slowly because I wasn't so sure of myself. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't so sure of myself within that space. But as a consultant, like, yes. And I remember when I met with my broker, and I told him, I said, listen, I've done business consulting for 18 years. So to do this now, I was like, it makes me a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I don't want no fines attached to my name and my license either. Like, I want to make sure I'm doing everything to the T, And I remember moving so slowly that and everything was quick. Like, I went to school, I passed my two exams at school. I passed my New Jersey exam, like first test, first try, boom.
Mm-hmm.
That was by October. I was in school September. By October, I had already passed. But then I dragged my feet to get my fingerprints, because you got to have your fingerprints done afterward. Dragged my feet because I knew that I was a step closer to embracing that call, and I didn't want to embrace it because I was just like, I still was kind of unsure. Like, why you call me to this?
Yeah.
Like, that's not even me. Like, that's not even. And then by the time I did, I lollygagged with reaching out to them and, hey, are my results in, and this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. So that brings us to January. So this was something that started in September. And now that brings us to January. But because I'm in my winter
Mm-hmm.
of reassessing, and I'm like, okay, she gonna stop playing. And she gonna get her butt in gear. So by the end of January, I did my research, and then I signed with a broker that I felt very comfortable with. And I like the company and what they stand for. And I signed with them in the middle of and at the end of January. And what's funny is I don't even advertise. Like, I don't even advertise anything about, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I'm a realtor. I don't do any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But people have come to me, like, they have, in some kind of way, they have gotten my name. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have, like, okay, I'm about to say this on live. I don't even have the business cards because I promote my business. I was like, as a business consultant, I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I've been doing. So that's what I promote. Mm-hmm. So to know that I have it, and I feel like he's so gracious with me. Like, he's just like, you dragging your feet. Let me bring this to you and stop playing around. Let me show you what's in you. Let me show you what you're able to do. Because the bigger picture, it's not that I'm doing this because, I'm trying to get money out of this. No. There's a greater picture that actually involves Love Me More. And what I'm trying, there's a program that I'm trying to develop to be able to get people in housing who are in quote unquote bad situations. We just gonna leave that there. Okay. Mm-hmm. But what I want to say is, it was a process of me examining myself and accepting the call to invade this industry. Mm-hmm. And now, like, I am starting to, and really just seeing now, like, really entering into spring is when I started to embrace it just a little bit more. I still got a ways to go because, I'm still doing my other thing. I'm just like, you trying to start a business? Let's go. You want to open up another store? Let's go. Like, that's what I push. Okay. I think that's what I do. But so to see that is a process, and it took me fall and winter, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm over here trying to harvest what I was already doing, and now it's like learning something new, and then going through that wilderness and winter to be where I am right now, which is embracing the call, embracing what he has put in me. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to be putting your hand to the plow at, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So she talks about spiritual is about embracing the call. And it says that in the spiritual realm, spring is a time to plant and carry out the instructions gleaned from your winter experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is a time for implementation. And my thing was, what do you see in yourself? What is it that you are supposed to be? And this is for everyone, for those who are listening. And I just kind of want you to ponder on this and, think about this tonight. What have you been called to implement in this season? What seeds are you planting in this season? What call do you need to embrace in your life? Because remember, we're talking about being a leader. We're talking about our voices being heard. We're talking about leading initiatives or getting involved in causes that are outside of us. And to be honest, outside of the church walls, because we ain't invading nothing up in that building. We were called to come out. He said, go.
Mm-hmm.
He did not say, stay up in behind these. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
So we are called to invade territory. So what territory are you invading? What are you going to take your gifts and talents and what are you going to put it to work for? To give a voice to the voiceless, to stand up for it. Because there's a whole bunch of injustices. I feel like, you know what? Next week when we come together, we need to write this stuff. We need to write it all down. We're going to have a whole slide with all the mess that's going on in this world. It is not time for us to be in our pajamas, in our bed, wrapped up in our blankets. Okay, it's not. And listen, I'll put my feet up on the recliner, but it ain't that time. It's time to plan. It's work.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes we come across frustrations that we know that we're called to something. Well, we have life happens, and then you experience these frustrations, these, trials, tribulations, situations, whatever you want to call them. And it kind of pushes you away from your purpose in that moment. And I just believe that when we really look at our winter season and we really do what we're supposed to do, it'll help us stay focused. When we understand, when we define the winter season, when we just define the spring season, it'll keep us on track. Even when life hits us, we know where we're going. We know where we're going. So, that's good.
I love that. I just want to tell you that Mr. Ardell McDuffie called you out in the comments. I just wanted to make sure you saw that. You know what I mean? Because we just be putting people out there. But he said something about a third confirmation. So I don't know, but he knows. And he put your business out there.
I think that was probably more of his business. That was the confirmation you need, sir? All right. Let's keep it pushing. Deborah anointing is not just for the female.
Yes. Come on now.
Come on, leader.
Come on now. Yes. That's right, Suzette. Patience. Yes. Because listen, when it comes, I'll be like, and I know how she operates. She'd be like, we know, right? So I love this. And then a couple things that I have highlighted is that this is a time for a fresh revelation because we are coming out of the wintry, bleak, dreary, everything dead, season. But now new life is coming about. I see my weeping willow got a little green on there. I said, oh, look at little greenery coming on my weeping willow. Trying to see the little buds coming up, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a time where we get to get a fresh revelation and we get to see things different now. We're not seeing things from a place of how everything is dead or was dead. Now we're seeing new life and we're seeing new birth. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions that she posed here was that, or one of the things that she also said, that we will have a newfound energy, when we are in tune to this, when we are seeking this new revelation and when we're seeking to do something new. And I'm like, spring really is about that. spring really, I feel like it's just nice. The windows go open. I just had my lawn done, and everything looks so fresh and green, and getting fresh mulch, and everything just looks so pretty. I got flowers starting to come back out. There's no bugs yet, like bees and flies, and this is my time, y'all. This is my time, okay? But she talks about, she talks us to question ourselves, like, in what ways have we been stagnant or neutral about pursuing the purpose of God for our life? And what is required of me to change this position of stagnation and neutrality? Because it is easy to stay in that. When you're coming out of a season of not doing, it is easy to enter into next season the same exact way. Like, I'm just going to keep on, just chilling. Like, I'm good. I'm going to stay. But it's a new season. It is a new season. Yeah. And she talks about how this is a season where we begin to develop a new confidence in the God of our calling. It's not about our confidence in ourselves. We develop a new confidence in the one who is calling us to this great thing, because it is not by our might. It is not by us. It is really by him. We lean on him. We lean on his understanding. Sometimes I'm saying that because I'm speaking that over myself, because I lean on my understanding. I know I'm trying to get better, y'all. Like, just make me dumb.
It's hard.
Yes, I was like, because sometimes you just do things. And I was like, and even when it comes to, operating as a single mother. Yeah. I do it all. And I'm not going to ask for help, because I'm going to show you how I can do it. Right? I'm going to show you how I can do it. Yeah. Right? So, but I have been being very intentional in not operating in my understanding and operating in a higher call, right? Because there is where I can rest. There, I ain't got to carry all this weight, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So another point that I did, because we talked about community, was, she says that God will send to you new connections. He will send you new mentors and new relationships to help fulfill the call. So not only does he reveal the call, he'll be like, you're not even gonna go at it alone, because you got me. But then I'm bringing the posse. Like, you got the whole girl gang around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And I have to say, this has absolutely been true for where I am right now. As much as I feel like I can go at it alone, and I'd rather do it alone, because, maybe my trust issues, or because, if you don't do it like me, I may have something to say about it. Okay, I'm just going to be honest, right? Like, but I need you to walk in your freedom, and I got to walk in mine too, right? So I can't keep imposing. But he has literally brought people around me and surrounded me by yes women. And what I mean, my yay sayers. So when I'm just like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that, and they're like, yes, let's do it, their yes becomes my yes. So they help me embrace the call, right? So he tells, like, okay, listen, in this season, I'm going to help you embrace the call, because I'm going to surround you with people who are not going to, they will not accept less of you. If they know you called to it, they're going to rally up around you, and they're going to help you. They're going to push you. They're going to be the yes in your ear that you need to hear, so that you don't go at it alone, so that you, and in any way, right? So I love that she says that he will send new connections, because if we had to say goodbye to some people, now we get to say hello, right? I mean, but there's some things that we do have to say goodbye to. Yeah. There's old ways we got to say goodbye to, so we can embrace the new way, right? So I'm grateful that he does send new connections, that he does send mentors. In other words, somebody who's been there, done that, and they going to be like, let me tell you what not to do, because that's what I need you to tell me.
Girl, that's how you be to me. That's how you be to me, Melissa. I'm like, girl, don't do that. Do it like, here you go. I had that same issue. I did this. I had that same problem. Let me show you. And that's important. You need kind of wisdom in your life.
Yes.
You do. You really do. Yes. So that's good. This is so good. This chapter was good.
And then he said, like, mentors and relationships, new relationships, going to help you fulfill it. Yeah. So we are not alone. And as much as, and I'm going to tell you right now, Like I said, I am the queen at going at it alone. Like I will do it. I won't ask for help in any kind of way. If you offer help, I'm like, no, I got it. Like I push. I am the queen. I feel like I've invented it, and I'm sure some of y'all feel that same way too. I'm sure a lot of y'all feel like y'all invented it too. But he will put you around the right people, and they won't even accept no. They'll just show up. When I
Okay.
tell you, they will just show up and they just invade your whole privacy. They're like, I'm like, you're all up in my business. All up in my, like, why are you helping me? I tell you I need no help. Why you show up here earlier than me? Why'd you get that done? Who let you in the building? You know what I'm saying? But I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
I am grateful for it. So my thing is this: what you are called to do, it ain't too big for you because you're not going at it alone. You got a whole crew. And the moment you say yes in your heart, that crew is going to appear. That crew is coming. It happened with me. Like it literally, it is still happening with me. And that's, I'm like, man, this is crazy. How would I connect with this person? I connected with that person. Now we doing this and now. It is a time for divine connections. And that's, I'm like, he's bringing us back. I was like, we did this thing in January. So to read this now, I'm like, no, God's like, I don't want you to miss it. Take out the vision board. Take out the vision board. I don't want you to miss it. This is for you. Like, I don't want you to miss it. Let's get into the summer season where she talks about how summer is a time of revelation. What stuck out to you in the summer season?
Summer is the time for both work and play. This is where you learn to balance your natural life and spiritual calling, an area on which I struggle with. I'm in AA right now. I struggle. I struggle with balance.
Yes.
It is hard for me to balance all the hats of mom and sister and daughter and aunt and also a coworker, leader in the community, and still do what I do as it relates to God. And it goes back to season. So what we were talking about, I have to literally be like, okay, God, tell me what in this season is priority. Like what do I need to really focus on? Like, so I can have that constant balance, because what was needed in winter isn't necessarily needed in summer and in spring. And so I just need to find that, and I'm doing better. I was bad, like didn't have any balance at all. But that's what happens when you go seek the creator about.
You got hands raised. People relating. We know.
All right, that's what's up.
And so
it's important. It's important. It's important to seek God, and what do I need to do right now? Because it's a lot sometimes. It's a lot sometimes. It can be overwhelming, but that's why you seek guidance from him.
Yes.
He'll let you
know. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to do what I think I should be doing. I'm going to do what I know that I should be doing. So that means I'm taking the right time to be in divine alignment and get my instruction. Where am I supposed to be? What am I putting my hands to? What am I supposed to be doing? Because I don't want to waste time. And Deborah's, we don't waste time. Like Deborah's don't waste time.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
See, it's past.
I'll be honest, I did. But I don't know. I no longer want to waste time.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, and wasting time is not just fiddling and trying to figure out, or it's not that. It's the time wasters. And she brings Deborah's ain't sitting here binge watching this, that, the other every single day of their life. They're not sitting here on TikTok for hours at a day or Facebook scroll. They're not doing that. They are productive because there is a greater call. So they're listening, just like when we hear our kids call us. We know the different yells. We know the different. We know it's like, oh, y'all all right. And it was like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like we know the different calls. Right. So, but what happens is that those distractions and those time wasters, it silences the voice, and then we can't hear. And then we trying to think, well, what am I supposed to be doing? I just feel so unfulfilled.
Knock you right off.
Yes. We working at the wrong place. You know what I mean? Like we with the wrong people. I'm not trying to wake up and be miserable. Like I'm not trying to be miserable and walking into a place that I ain't trying to be at, and they probably don't want me at. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be that person. I'm not trying to walk up in the building. If you don't want me there, I don't want to be there either. Okay? I was like, so my thing is, we got to remove those things
Yeah.
that's silencing that voice, because we know deep down we are connected to our creator. We
Yeah.
know what we should be doing, but there are things that are in our lives right now that is shutting that down. Ladies, we're just going to go over like 5 minutes because we're just going to get through this season and the next season, and we just can't do chapter 2. The goal is 1 and 2, but we
you. I told you.
I know. And she said that, she's like, Melissa, I don't think that we're gonna be able to do chapter 2. I was like, oh, we gonna get through it. No, we're not.
Too much.
No, we're not. And we're just gonna leave it. We're just gonna leave it. Like, listen, it's too good.
Yeah.
It's too good, and we don't want to miss, because the fact, again, I go back, the fact that we did an event in January and we were not doing this book, and to know that this is being brought back up, I'm like, no, this is like, I don't want, like, his love is so great. He's like, I don't want you to miss where you're supposed to be right now in life. I don't want you to miss. I don't want you to keep ignoring that call, keep ignoring that. I don't want you to miss it. And what I like is that she says, in this summer season, you will come to know and understand some of the depths and requirements and specifics of the call. So the initial fear and anxiety has now calmed down, and you will become confident in accepting the call of God. So now we're talking about summer, y'all. So that means we got from now until June to get the worries out, right? We got from now, we got to get the worries out. We got to calm our nerves, because when summer comes, we are absolutely walking in confidence. All right, because we're ironing that thing out. I needed this too, Kathy. I needed this too, girlfriend. And I like that, because this is what we get to look forward to. Okay, so if we're here now, yes, come on, Reese. If we're at the place right now where we have to step into this, know that in a couple months, we're embracing it now, but all that butterflies and the uncertain, it's gonna be gone. We're gonna be walking out like, I've got, like, what? And then we're gonna be looking back. I could not believe I was concerned. I cannot believe I was worried. I can't believe, like, that's how we're gonna look at ourselves later on. But the season that we're in right now, it is to embrace, and we have just so much greatness to look forward to when summer does hit. And so she says, you will become confident of what God has called you to do.
Yeah.
His purpose, you will be persuaded that the God of the call is able to make sure that his calling is fulfilled in your life. And so for me, the reason why I wanted to I wanted to quickly get into that summer one, because we are 2 minutes over time. But these are the things that we get to look forward to. It is not that we're coming so confident in ourselves, because that means it would be in our own understanding and in our own strength and in our own wisdom and in our own knowledge. We are called to operate at a higher level. And we need a divine being to do that. We need to be connected to the source. We need to be connected to God, right? So when he says that, that we will become confident of what he has called us to do, that means it's easy now. It's easy. So it may look hard and difficult, and we may feel confused and not understanding what I'm supposed to do. Listen, if you need to understand, you need to reach out, because I will send you materials on figuring out what your purpose is, what you are passionate about, because the only thing you do know, there is stuff that has happened to you in life that has shut that down, but you're gonna have to do the work. That means you're gonna have to peel back the layers, and sometimes that's ugly. It's like cutting up an onion. Okay, it is ugly. It burns. Okay, it burns the eyes. It makes you cry. Like, it's gonna happen, right? But we have to go back to that. All right. So, let's jump into fall. Now she started, and I love this. Provided you have been diligent. All right. So, like, if you did what you were supposed to do.
Yes.
Let's talk about what you get to look forward to. She said, provided you have been diligent during the previous seasons. In other words, you did the stuff in winter, and now you're embracing the call in spring, and now you're operating in confidence because you've diligently walked in the call. Okay, and now it's like, oh, this is like, yes, we operate in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy.
Yeah.
What do you get to look forward to? It says, provided you have been diligent during the previous seasons, fall is the time of harvest. Now, it says fall is the time when you will see the evidence of your hard work. So my thing is this. If you planting now, don't be mad if you don't see harvest next month, because it's not harvest time. Like, we got to operate within seasons. Things take time to mature. We take time to mature, okay? And as much as I love to do, like, I want things to happen quick. Just get me through this real quick. I'm not even trying to go through this. No, everything needs time to process. You know, when they and my other thing about, I feel like fall that I wanted to mention was, fall is not a time for rest, right? You didn't do all this work to look at your harvest. It's gonna be double time now. If you thought you was working, oh girl, you about to work, you got to gather. It's even more work then, okay? So when you go into fall, you know it is not a time for rest. It's a time to gather. You get to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Like, that's what I'm trying. Listen, yes, come on, Taisha. My thing is this. I don't know about you. I'm trying to get to fall, y'all.
Yeah.
And fall is one of my favorite seasons too. I love me some fall, but I'm trying to get to fall, and I'm trying to diligently get there. I'm not trying to procrastinate my way there. I'm not trying to sleep my way there. I'm not trying to time waste my way there. I'm trying to get where I can see the fruit of my labor.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Kavita?
So, what hit me, it's the season of Thanksgiving and celebration of abundance and goodness of the year. Yeah. So that reaping of what we've been sowing all this time, you get to experience it, and now you see God in a greater capacity. Because sometimes we'll see we know that He's there, we know that He's moving, but sometimes we have our moments of doubt. But when reaping, when the harvest comes, it's almost like, oh, you was in it all along. You really were.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
that is the greatest feel. I want that moment. I want the moment of like, yo, you orchestrated all this for me. Like, let's go, God. Let's go. Like, I want that moment. I don't want to be the one like, where were you? He'd be like, no, where was you? You wasn't out in the field. Where was you with the plow? Where was you with the seeds? I'm like, I was operating in uncertainty. Yeah. I was sitting there quiet. I was over there I was on TikTok. I'm trying to get my TikTok in before they ban it. I'm just saying, like, I was on TikTok, God. I was on TikTok.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's good. It's good to be in that place and feel that, like, God, the thing that you said really came to fruition. And here's my opportunity to really sit in that. Not even just receive like whatever comes with it, but just to be like, I was really on one accord with you. Like, I didn't waste any time. Like, you know how it feels to finally be in a place, especially when you have wasted time. Do you know how it feels to be in a place like, I'm on the same page as God this time?
Yes.
I'm on the same page. It's fulfilling. And that's fulfilling. That should be all of our heart's desire.
Yes, it is fulfilling. And another part that I had outlined was, she says, in this season, so in fall, in this season, you are living with the assurance that the instructions assigned to you in the call of God have been fulfilled. That means you listened. Not only did I listen, but I moved, because I can hear you and not move, but I heard you. That was really you. And I moved on it. And you moved on your behalf. And look where we at. Look where we at. And even just to hear the language. So in spring, like right now, we're embracing something.
Yeah.
And now once the summer comes, it's like, oh, I'm operating a little bit more confidently that He did call me to this. I'm starting to become second nature to me, right? And then it's like, now you in the assurance. Like, you without a shadow of a doubt. Can't nobody even don't lie to me. Don't tell me this wasn't God. Don't tell me He orchestrated that for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, man, I'm like, this is what we get to look forward to. This is so right now, we are at a time of embracing, and it ain't even too late. We just started. Spring started a week ago. Like we just started spring. Yeah. We just started spring. So you have time to even figure out the call. You have time to figure out the call and embrace the call before summer even gets here. So what are you called to this season? Mm-hmm. What are you called to? What you trying to put your hands to? What you trying to put your voice to? What you putting your essence to? Yeah. What you putting your gifts and your talents to? Because it's going to be so much bigger than you. And don't let that make you afraid, because he's going to bring the right people around you. Your posse is coming, but you got to say yes.
Come on. You got to say yes.
On the way, but you got to say yes. Like, we can't tell him, oh, God my steps, but I'm not taking those steps. No, ma'am. We got to get up and move and then let him direct the steps. He can't guide nothing if we just sitting. So what are you passionate about? What ruffles your feathers? What makes you feel all good inside? Like, oh, yes, I love this. Or, oh, I can't stand that they do this, that, I can't believe this happened in this world. What? Because you have been called to invade the territory. And I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to offend anybody, any leaders in a church building. I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm telling you, you have been called to invade different systems, and it is not the church building. So when you feel like you're using your gifts and talent, let me tell you, you serving ain't serving in the church. It's serving in the streets. You take that gift, you take your essence, you take that voice, and you put it in the job. You put it in your community. If you're working for, I was like, who working for the government? Because that's what we need to rally up around you. We need to rally up around you, girl. Whoever in that government, we need to rally up. But listen, so what I'm saying is there is something that you have absolutely been called to, and you're going to have to do the work. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to do the work to figure out what it is, but you were not called to be silent, to be in the background. You are a Deborah, and Deborahs, we lead, and we lead initiatives, and we seek righteousness, and we seek justice. Okay, we are Deborahs. We have a voice that needs to be heard. And if you get anything out of our studies, it needs to be an activation. We need to be fire starters. Like, we need to light something up on the inside of you.
Go. Yeah.
You cannot be silent. Not now. We are seeing too much. Mm-hmm. And we need to use our voices. We need to use our voices. It is no longer time to be silent. And I'm telling you, we have been silent for so long, but I have to say, we have been groomed to be silent. Women belong in leadership. We have been called to leadership, and we lead every single day. We lead our homes. We lead our children. We lead every single day. Wherever we are, we lead every single day. We are carrying something out. So I'm telling you right now, what are you being called to? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What are you? Come on, Selena, let's go. She said this. Oh, Selena, I read that wrong. I was like, come on, Selena, let's go. We'll run. I said, oh, you said this show. You saw how my voice changed? We were embracing here. We embracing. Come on, boy. That's right. Yes, sir. Come on, sir. Come on, sir. Listen, we support you. Like, we support you.
Yes, leader. Rise up, leader.
Yes, like, this is the time. And I was like, and when we talk about how the earth is groaning, like, y'all don't hear it. Look at the banks. The banks is groaning. They shutting down. Like, listen, there is a groan. We ain't listening. Yeah. We ain't listening. So there is a special time right now. I see.
It is time.
Selena. Yes, Selena. Okay, come on, Selena. Let's go. Let's go. We will absolutely connect. But it's now. Yeah. Like, we can no longer sleep on this. And that's why I'm like, for this to come about now, I think he is calling the Deborahs to arise. We need to stand up. We need to rise in our power. We need to stand established, okay? We need to use our voice, and we need to stand against injustice. And we have been called to invade territories. What is your territory? That's what I need y'all to figure out. So by the time we come back next week, I want everybody in the comments telling me what their territory is. This is the land I'm invading. This is where I'm gonna be at. Find me in the social media. Let me take over. Find me over here in the school districts. I'm gonna take over there. We're gonna get this thing right. Tell me, what territory are you? That's right. I see that, Stacy. It is time to rise up and soar in godly boldness. Yes, because that's where it's coming from. Let's go. Let's go. That is where it's coming from. We ain't got to be scared. We don't got to retreat, because she didn't. That she was out. She was like, okay, freedom needs to hit here. Like, we about to get our freedom back. Okay. And she told them, gather up, get yourselves together. And she waited for the right time to tell them it's time to go to war. Okay. She didn't do anything outside of time. And because she did it in the right time, she was successful. Yep. So when we do things in alignment in the right time to what we were called to, we will be successful. But he gets the glory.
Always.
But he gets the glory for it. He gets the glory for it. Like, oh my gosh. All right, ladies, we went over. But we had to do it. We had to do it because this is so important. And just in closing, she talks about that it's important that we believe that God is actively engaged in every single detail of our life, and that he will reward us if we continually pursue him. And how we pursue him is not just in our quiet time. It's not just, in prayer. It's not just reading the scriptures. It is through activation. It is through activation out in this world, invading territories. That brings him glory, because he's like, oh, you didn't bury what I gave you? I sure didn't. You want to look at my field, God? Come see my field, God. Come see my field, right? Like, we're not burying nothing. We are not burying nothing. Yes, she did, Stacy. Yes, she did. And that's what he is calling us to do. It is not by ourselves. It is not by ourselves. It is all by and through him. Thank you so much, Reese. Thank you. So, Kavita, you have anything to say in closing? Because I'm going to shut up.
No, you didn't say it all. They didn't say it all. I just encourage everyone.
And I don't want to keep going, because now we're 17 minutes old. We 17 minutes
old. No, we done. No, we done. We done. I just encourage everybody to, keep moving forward. Yes. And don't give up, regardless of what you have experienced. Yes. Like, if anything, just really know that, like, it's not too late. Like Melissa was saying, it's really not too late.
Yes.
Be encouraged. That's all I got. That's
yes, thank you. And listen, one of the things that we are doing is we are reaching out and touching people. So if you need to process something with somebody, you reach out and touch your girlfriend. Okay. Reach out to us. We'll talk to you. Like, oh, you need to figure some things out. Okay, boom, let's process it. Okay. And we can do it over a meal, because we like to eat. We like to go out and eat. Listen, we always got to have a meal. Oh goodness. Yes, Reese. Yes. I wanted to, she said, when you said I'm overwhelmed when I'm doing things out of season, that hit different. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's just those one little things that it's like, it, but it hit different when you hear. It's like, wait a minute, that is true. Like, no, that's the only time when you want to talk about seasons of frustration, when you in the wrong season. You operating in the wrong season. Okay. I was like, and that's what we're doing. We are going to be intentional and operate in the season that we're. So right now, we embracing the call. What is your call? Yeah. What are you being called to? Like I said, if you need to figure out, we're going to process it together, girlfriend. All right. So ladies and gents, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. Have a great, great night. Kavina, girl, you already know. Thank you, girlfriend. Thank you, Deborah.
No, thank you.